No. I know what I have to do now. I didn't before.
Well, sir, I got it's $2 for the first 30 minutes. So,
son, you go to church?
Yes, sir.
Get over the goddamn tape. You're working in.
When I am in a terrible, deep depression, one of the things that I do is put on a suit. It might be false, but I feel like if I shine my shoes, I put on a tie, I make myself look as good as I can possibly look, that I feel better, that somehow it's armor. It's a ritual that I go through. So I grafted an enormous part of my own personality and my own things that have happened in my life, the suicide in the books, the suicide from my family, the relationship between Jim and George is direct conversations out of my own relationship with Richard. The two dogs in the film are my two dogs. And I grafted myself onto the character of George, and in a sense, that is my midlife crisis on screen. And anytime anyone asks me, what are you about? I say, just watch this movie. Everything you need to know about me is in that film. And so it was a very personal experience. Through all of that, kind of came to a real piece of life.
Let's go, kids. It's showtime.
Right.
Okay, we're ready to go. I'm going to put on a Michael, go, kid.
I wrote the line in my film at the end. A few times in my life, I've had moments of clarity where the silence drowns out the noise and I can feel rather than think. See the view? Kevin, we're going to start in a little library, right? Yeah. I'm guest editing French Vogue. I have 80 pages to fill. Some I'm photographing myself. Orlando, is her hair kind of what you're thinking?
Yeah.
I think she looks great. In today's world, what everyone aspires to do is to be exactly the same. She's a cougar. She's a vieux cougar. You have all these people getting all this cosmetic surgery. All their breasts are looking the same. All their lips are looking the same. Young girls are growing up thinking that they need to have collagen in their lips because their mothers have collagen in their lips because they're used to looking at this. So we've put these prosthetics on her. These aren't her real cheeks and this really fake mouth. She's got two very young boyfriends. They're taking care of her and everything in her life is too much. Her clothes are too much and it's excess. She needs more breasts. Like a lot more.
Oh, Well,
I don't mean in real life, I mean for the story. And then I'm writing a piece about our beauty standards and why in our culture right now we're obsessed with youth. Fabulous, you look really sick. I have to say, I quite like that one.
I like Letty's song.
She looks freaky.
Don't say that.
In a good way, but really freaky. Fashion for me isn't just clothes. It can be a mirror of where we are culturally at a moment in time, or it can be an indicator of where we're going. If you look, for example, at a film from the 1950s, and you look at the shape of women's breasts pointed, and you look at the cars pointed, there was a look to that period. There's a look to every period. For example, what I was doing at Gucci in the 90s was sexy for a reason. We had come out of the 1980s devastated, not only financially with the financial crash in the late 80s, but also by AIDS. It was reflected in all the arts, because the exuberance of life and what we had in the 70s, which was a very approachable form of beauty. Women looked kissable, they looked soft. You felt you could slip your hand inside, their blouse. Breasts hadn't become all fake and pumped up. There was a sensuality and a friendliness to the 70s in sexuality. By the 80s, sex had become quite hard because it was dangerous. There was an off-putting quality to it. And in the mid-90s, I have been credited and responsible somewhat for bringing that sort of exuberant sex back. A certain happiness and joy to the fact that we're physical and that we're sexual and that, at that moment in time, it was effective because it was fresh. Today we're in the pumped up period, which I'm not sure I like. Women's breasts are pumped up, lips couldn't get any more pumped up. Everything in our world right now is pumped up. That is fashion. That is what happens to be the look, the fashion in 2010, 2011. Where does that come from culturally? Why is that happening? What does it mean? And those are all very interesting questions. Where are we going next?
Caroline, I'm just going to shoot and then we'll look at the crossing. That was very good the way you did it. It was very elegant.
The focus of this issue is a little bit on age. I'm getting older, but also I work in an industry that I have sometimes mixed feelings about what we do, because we convince people that they're not perfect enough, that they need this and they need that, but we promote materialism, which ultimately really is not the thing that brings you happiness in the world.
So, do we have any image on the left?
We do live in a material world. Velvet feels good. Cashmere feels good. Colors excite us because we can see. So there's a certain enjoyment to be gained by materialism and the material world, but you have to keep it in perspective, because really, it's nothing. We don't own anything in our life. We don't own anything in the world. I usually think of it as just a bunch of stuff that I'm kind of swimming through in this life to go from here to wherever I go afterwards. But I have to say, I do struggle, because I'm attracted in some ways to beautiful things, yet at the same time, I am actually very aware of, in some sense, their lack of value. One of the most important things in life are your connections to other people. So it's a bit of a struggle. Fashion is a business. Fashion is something that is deemed by popular culture at a moment in time to be the thing that you should be wearing or you should have. But everyone lives in their own world. There isn't one world. There's your world. You're your own world, I'm my own world. Everyone is their own world. So beauty really is in the eye of the beholder.
Tom, right here, please.
Style, for me, is something completely different. You can be what we would consider in our culture unattractive and have great style. You can have no money and have great style. You can have a lot of money and have great style. More often, you have a lot of money and you have terrible style, and you just plaster yourself in what you think you're supposed to be wearing, and you've lost yourself. I love the color of this. Can I see you walk? I don't know what this is going to turn into. I think the handkerchief hem we shouldn't do, but I love the color of this. It should probably be a dress, actually, underneath the jacket. I actually hate to see my designs worn head to toe the way I show them on a runway. I like when women take a piece of this and a piece of that and they break it up and they personalize it. You know, they bought that jacket because they love that jacket. I'm not sure what to do with these things. I'm drawn to them, but I don't know what the hell they're going to be. Style for me is someone who figures out who they are, what works on them, what they feel good in, and develops their character. And the outer expression of their character is what is style. But I think this jacket is great, and I think the jacket and the color combination is really good. For me, I wear my shirt open because ties give me a headache. I've turned it into my style, although I wear ties sometimes too, but I can only wear them for a few hours, and then I start to get a migraine. I believe in enhanced reality with fashion. Fashion creates a bit of a dream. That's the whole point, I think, of dressing up, is you feel better about yourself. It's an enhanced version of who you are, and when you buy something, you know, you